I was chasing up and down the country behind qualifiers, and I loved my horse, and I gave up everything for my horse. Even my family was affected by it, because guess what? I spent more time with my horse than with my husband at sometimes. So I love my horse, and this is where I go. I sometimes I get it, because I know when I was doing it, there was, at that moment, that if somebody had come to tell me that my horse was unhappy, I would have said, "What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
You woo purple person, go off and go and do your meditation somewhere else," kind of thing. It was just more, I wasn't ready to hear it. So
Mm-hmm.
it can be that at some level, I mean, it wasn't a money issue for me at all. Actually, I could have done well not doing it and not spend so much money. So it wasn't a money making issue for me. It was just absolutely unawareness. It was
Yeah,
total
yeah,
unawareness of what was going on for my horse. Now, I have albums of photographs and videos, and the rosettes, and I look at the photographs and I go, please, I'll never get rid of them, because it's
no.
a you shall never forget. And once in a while I
Mm-hmm.
pop one out there and I say, listen, I get you. I get that you did it and you didn't realize that your horse was so unhappy with what was going on. And so that's just an answer to your being blinkered. Maybe at some level, there is big money at top level sport. I didn't really make it to top level sport, but quite a decent level. But there was no money involved as such. I wasn't having sponsors and things like that. But no, there was no
Well,
malice in
here's,
my. Hmm?
well, here's a question. I mean, you were saying that there was no awareness at the time, that you were doing what you were doing and you loved your horse. And there's no doubt. And I think the people that are in the industry, in the competing now,
Yeah.
love their horses. Of course they do. I'm not saying that they don't. But what made you realize that? What was the thing that tipped you
Um,
over the edge, and well, more importantly, what keeps them from tipping, do you think?
that's a really good question, Rachel. So what's my experience was a client that
Mm.
had turned into a very dear friend, that I was helping her do dressage with her horse. And when we got to horse number 4, the horse was developing the same issues, like rearing and getting rid of her and hurting her. Um, she started looking elsewhere, because my inside leg to outside rein thing wasn't helping
Working.
anymore. It wasn't working anymore. I mean, there were other issues. I'm kind of simplifying it for our chat here. But she went off looking for something else. Also, because I moved out of her area, I moved back to London. This was up in the Manchester area, and so yes, I was trying to help her over the phone, but it didn't work. Online teaching then didn't work.
No, it's not.
Yeah, but
That's another evolution.
yeah, that hadn't happened yet. So she found a different way, and she invited me to come and see these people. And because I loved her so much, I went, but really with an arrogant, why would I want to go and watch these people with cowboy hats and long ropes? I was so irreverent about it. But I went, and though now 15 years later, I don't agree with what they were doing either.
Yeah.
At that because we're always evolving, and that's
Always.
the beauty of it. We need to always be evolving. At that moment, I went, oh my gosh, I have missed something here.
Mm-hmm.
I
But
remember
that's also, sorry to interrupt, but that's also really important, and I think really key. I think understanding that evolution is a never-ending story helps
yes,
us evolve.
yes, and that it's
Because I
okay,
think
but it's scary,
it is,
because
absolutely.
it's scary, because you have to, the analogy I've used when I've shared this with other people is like the scaffolding of my life was just coming down around me. I mean, I had spent 20 years perfecting the perfect circle, this, the shoulder, hip, heel kind of thing, the straight arms, the whatever, the concept. It was all about the doing. And what
You
do
were
you mean I
colouring in
have
the
to,
lines.
yeah, so what do you mean I have to look at it from a different point of view? And it was huge. I mean, I cried so hard that weekend, and I'm so grateful that it happened, but it took 5 years. I mean, it had flooded into my awareness that maybe
Mm-hmm.
something, but you just put it aside because that means starting all over again. That means having to accept that what I'm doing now is wrong.
But there you go. They don't accept. That's the problem, is that evolution is really slow, but there is people around, like you, who are in that competition world, who have evolved, and there's others, there's a lot more now about, absolutely, which is great to see. But the key for the fundamental, which is like what you said, which is the organizations, that the core of the organization, they need to start looking outside and understanding that there is a possibility of change. There is a possibility of not only change, but I also think, do you not think it's also we need to, for me, switch what we score, if you like. So rather than
100%.
scoring, score the communication, score the connection, score score is the right word, but
it is
that
scoring,
reward that, don't reward because the other thing is, like, recently I'm not going to name names because I couldn't anyway, even if I tried, but there's a dressage girl that's been disqualified recently for a blood in the mouth. She was done. This is the second time, I think. And the problem is, that's okay. She might be upset that she's disqualified from this one competition, but unless there is some repercussions, unless there is some actual actions against it, maybe if you've got blood in the mouth once, you are disqualified for the next few competitions. If you get blood in the mouth twice, you're disqualified for the season. There's got to be a bigger disadvantage for not paying attention to what your horse is saying. Do you not think?
Yes.
But no?
But I also, the thing is, if